Hey guys, Firearms Addict here, and I wanted to share another book with you today. This one is on Mossberg, More Gun for the Money, the history of O.F. Mossberg and Sons, and it is written by Victor and Cheryl Havlin. The phrase, my first gun was a Mossberg, is something that many Americans can say, and actually in my case, my first cartridge firing gun was indeed a Mossberg, Model 152, and I just love that rifle.
Let's take a closer look at the book. My copy is a paperback, and it is copyrighted 1995 and was published by Blue Book Publications. The book features 12 sections. In section 1, it's titled Humble Beginnings, and this talks about the background of Oscar Frederick Mossberg, gives drawings, patent drawings, talks about different companies that he worked for, the Invisible Defender. It talks about companies that Mossberg worked for, gives family photos, and just is a good introduction to the story of Mossberg, the corporation. Section 2, O.F. Mossberg and Sons, the early years. We find out about his early pistol, the Brownie, the first repeating rifles that he came up with. Section 3 focuses on success in the Depression. Definitely a hard time in history for companies to make it. And you get original advertising. Talks about the different models. Talks about the innovations that Mossberg came up with. Mossberg was first with many different ideas, and they featured that in their advertising. We look at scopes. Section 4 is about the growth of the corporation. You'll find more pictures of original firearms. This is from the 1935 catalog, and it talks about the pre-war production time. You find a lot out about the Targo models and the whole sport of Targo. If you haven't checked out my video on the different Targo models, check that out. You might enjoy it if you like Mossbergs. Throughout the book, each section, just prior to it, you get a safety tip and also a picture of the logo from that period of time. I think that's a nice touch. Section 5 is World War II. Talks about the Model 42 and how it was used as a training rifle for our troops. In Section 6, we look at the post-war period. Again, we get original advertising. This is advertising my favorite and first firearm, the Model 152. Chapter 7, Mossberg for Accuracy, Towards Modern Times. Talks about the AC Crow groove rifling. Talks about magazines. Mossberg's pretty innovative with their different magazine design, where it'll take shorts, longs, and long rifles. We look at the Targo Revisited, and again, you could find out more about that in my video on the Targos. Really neat concept, but very difficult. We see original photographs from the factory. We look at the Mossberg lever actions. In Chapter 8, we look at the diversification that Mossberg does. This was mostly sparked by the Gun Control Act of 1968. They got into producing all kinds of different products: canoes, sailboats, campers, golf clubs. They got into custom guns with the Pedersen custom guns. In the 70s, cycling became very, very popular with the bicentennial, and Mossberg got into the production of bicycles. Section 9, Consolidation. Shotgunning for success. In modern times, most people think of Mossberg for shotguns, and this whole chapter is devoted to shotguns primarily. We look at chokes. We get more original advertising. The Mossberg 500 camper. We move on to the bullpup, Model 12. And the military Model 590. The 590 compact, a line launcher for rescue work. In section 10, we look at contracted ventures, where Mossberg partnered with other companies, such as Weatherby. Another safety tip. They're just scattered throughout the book. Section 11 is into the 21st century. Talks about different innovations that Mossberg is still coming up with. Safes, the gun lock. The last section is quite useful, I think. It's an appendix, and it gives drawings of the parts of many, if not all, of the Mossbergs. And that is a pretty extensive amount of drawings. We get a reference section. Towards the end of the book, we have a picture of the Mossberg family today. On the last page, it talks about the authors and the back cover. This book was put together with research from the Mossberg Collectors Association. That's a group that I would recommend joining if you do like Mossbergs. They have a magazine that comes out quarterly, and in the description I'll put a link on how to order this book. If you like this, please hit the like button, share with your friends, consider subscribing, and thank you for watching.
And I wanted to share another book review with you. This one is on Mossberg.
It focuses on companies that Oscar. Chapter 3. Fucking shit.